Hello, all. This is a continuation of our podcast series of the MCCIA Cybersecurity Initiative. We had the first one a few months back where we had experts who talked about various aspects from a career point of view. Today, we are very fortunate to have one of our partners and also a member of our advisory body, Mukul Joshi, who is the director at IIT Bombay Trust Lab. Mukul, thank you for joining us and thank you for all your support in the cybersecurity initiative.
Thanks for making me a part of it.
So let's start off. Tell us more about Trust Lab and the entire initiative, how the genesis of it started, and how the students and the cybersecurity community that we are building should be having more information about Trust Lab.
Sure. So, IIT Bombay's Trust Lab is a research lab in the Computer Science Department of IIT Powai. So, we are housed within the Computer Science Department, and we are part of the Computer Science Department. We started almost 2 years back. We started in September 22, and it all started with the seed coming from Dr. Sridhar Shukla, who is also alumnus of IIT Powai, who donated money to IIT Bombay to build and to start IITB Trust Lab. And the thought behind that was, the need of the current hour for the computer science field, for the industry in terms of the demand supply gaps, and also for the nation in terms of being resilient and being really truly Atmanirbhar in certain areas, and especially in the area of cyber security and security. So with that thought, we started Trust Lab with a vision, okay, and that is simply to make the digital ecosystem trustworthy for the end user. So it's a larger statement under which a lot of areas come, because for an end user, when he is interacting with the digital ecosystem, be it internet, be it mobile applications, be it payments and transactions, anything where the data is stored in the cloud, a lot of areas of the computer science have application to ensure that these things become more and more trustworthy. So even when we speak of AI as an area, of course there is trustworthiness of AI and explainability of an AI which overlaps with this part of digital trust. Yeah. So I would say that a lot of areas in the computer science have an overlap with respect to making things trustworthy, and that's the objective with which IITB Trust Lab started, and that it has been a fantastic journey of 2 years where we have really worked on building the team, working on few marquee projects, and also making sure that the ecosystem is something that we contribute to for the further growth.
Yeah. So, our interactions pretty much started off with focus on the capture the flag hackathons and CTFs, as you would call them. And I remember you highlighting one issue, which was that Pune is lagging behind, and other cities are doing pretty well in the initiatives that you have been running. So one of the objectives of this podcast was to create that awareness among the student community. Just for your information, we have close to about 35 cybersecurity clubs in the colleges which are registered as part of the initiative. Most of them are very active. They are doing their the programs in their colleges. They are having very active involvement of the student and the faculty. But we want them to get onto doing hackathons, doing hands-on, using the framework that you have created. So tell us how the entire ecosystem is. How is Pune lagging behind? What Pune should really do through this efforts that you are driving?
Fair enough. So, when we started working 2 years back, we decided that there will be three pillars of our work: research, technology impact, and the third will be ecosystem. So we obviously wanted a big ecosystem of students, teachers, and working professionals to benefit from the knowledge and the work that is happening at Trust Lab. And with this thought, we first hosted our first nationwide CTF in 2023 September. So CTF, by the way, stands for Capture the Flag Competition. For any layman, it is just like a equivalent of treasure hunt in the cyber world. So there are multiple rounds. Each round has a puzzle or a quest for the player, and you break something or you solve something or you answer something given the clues and by assessing the situation. And then if you do it correctly, what you get is a flag. Okay. In the digital world, the flag is nothing but a bit string. Okay. And you submit it saying that, hey, this is the flag that, I have captured, and you advance to the next stage. So you can keep capturing flags one after other. Of course, the one who gets all the flags first is typically a winner. Or let's say nobody does that, then one who gets maximum flags becomes the winner. Okay. And there are also multiple versions of this where you can set the system with dynamic scoring based on if something gets solved by multiple people versus something gets solved by a very small number of people, then the points dynamically increase or decrease and so on. So these are various settings in which this is played. It is a fairly competitive environment and a game. It runs for typically 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours. Some CTFs also run for 48 hours. Ours typically run for 12 hours. And we have 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 problems to be solved there, which come from various areas like cryptography, network security, or reverse engineering of code, or web application security, and so on. Right? So once we successfully got it executed in the first year and we got a great response, we realized that to do justice to the potential to the students of India, we need to conduct it at multiple places. So in the second year, actually, we conducted almost 9 to 10 CTFs and sponsored also a few. And they happened in Delhi, Roorkee, Coimbatore, and even RVC, Bangalore, in Karnataka. In Pune, in PICT, we also conducted one. Okay. So we are relatively well aware of the performance, the knowledge, and competitiveness of students from different areas and cities. And based on that comes my comment that in our experience, Pune lacks there. On which parameters? Fairly easy and simple parameters is, given 10 problems, how many can the students solve in the given time period? What type of problems that they can solve? Only the simple ones or advanced ones or so on. What is their overall attitude towards getting them solved? There are multiple students out there who try till the last minute. Okay, and then after they solve the problems, we also ask them to write the write-ups of how they have approached something. From the way they write the write-up also becomes quite clear that how conversant they are with the areas, and how they can describe what they have done. In all these, it's very unfortunate, even for me being from Pune, to see that our students are comparatively in a lower end when compared to students from Kottayam, Bangalore, Kochi and Nagpur and Kolkata. Bangalore one can probably ignore as an IT city with students having a lot of exposure, but all these other are also small towns. Rather, Pune students have much more exposure in the city to various areas, but competitively we don't perform well.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity for the students of our cybersecurity clubs to take this up as a challenge that Mukul has put up and ensure that on all the categories, all the aspects that he talked about, we are able to put in that amount of hard work and be able to challenge that particular statement on seeing how Pune can be in the top, if not at the top. So Mukul, given this lagging behind in the entire ecosystem, how do you think corporates can potentially help? Tell us how, you talked about sponsorship as one of the
Yes,
areas, but
yes.
obviously these are young students who are aspiring to do a lot of things, but they need guidance.
Yeah.
What is the opportunity for corporates to participate in this, not just in just sponsoring, but
Correct.
also enabling some of their best experts to participate along with the students or organize CTFs in a local
Sure.
area?
Sure. So, Dina, that's an excellent question, and uh, I feel that this area has been ignored a lot, uh, and corporates need to invest in the to get the talent that they seek. You know, a typical involvement of a corporate with an institute comes and starts with a placement season, or it is very transactional for a particular events and sponsorship. However, I feel that corporate plan play a great role in this in terms of first they can adopt a few cyber clubs, okay, and set some agenda for them. Okay, just advise them on how their calendar for an year should be.
Sure.
It shouldn't just carry one event or two events or something. Maybe guide them how every month they can do something. Can be very small thing like anything from demonstration of a tool to learning a technique to discussing what are the recent most attacks which have taken place in past 3 months, or even taking NCIIPC newsletter and walking through it, and understanding it and making sure that students can read the next version themselves. Okay, so why they need to adopt a few cyber clubs. Second, these CTFs, right? Many a times, setting up good challenges and setting up relevant challenges of what happens in the real world is also very useful. Okay, so they can not only just sponsor the CTF by giving prize money, probably if they can contribute by giving and setting up good problems, that is one another area. And a third thing is not to run a CTF but to run a hacking challenge. Typically the hackathons are of a nature where there is an abstract idea, statement, or a goal given to which students are asked to build a solution, right? But rather than that, if it can also be about trying to break something, or trying to steal data, or trying to ensure the safety and security of something, doing VAPT, all such kind of activities. If you can build uh, competitions around that, corporates are in good position to bring in the knowledge to simulate these real world scenarios, right? So these are the three three ways in which they can invest. Um Adopting the cyber clubs and contributing to the CTFs is one definite
Yeah,
idea.
absolutely. I think it's a great opportunity for all the corporate partners that we have in our cybersecurity initiative, many of who are members of MCCIA, to support based on the guidance that Mukul has given. And I will also ask you about support from the cyber cell, the police force and other government institutions. How have their partnership been, and how can we mobilize their contribution into this activity?
I can tell you in few states that I have visited. For example, state of Gujarat
Mhm.
and in uh, Trichy.
Mhm.
Okay, there are real great examples of the engineering colleges, the faculty uh, working very closely with the cyber cell of police department, or even with J&K police. So especially when I visited GTU, Gujarat Technical University, on the day of my visit, the cyber cell of Gujarat police had organized the CTA for the students in GTU,
Okay.
and it was taking place at that time. We have a partner in REC Trichy, who is a faculty who works very closely with the police there, and student work on solving the or helping the police to solve the real world cases.
Mhm.
I don't know of such examples from Maharashtra, and to make this happen, the effort is needed to be put from both the ends,
Yeah.
and with a long term objective, rather than an expectation that a very quick solution can come out in lesser time. But there are definitely these success case studies, which I feel we can very easily
No, I
replicate.
think it's a good point that it is a two-way street always, and the you'd be aware that the head of Maharashtra Cybercrime was here at the launch of the
Right.
MCCI Cybersecurity Initiative Handbook. We'll definitely reach out to them and see how we can actually take that track forward of their participation into it. Looking at the student community, right? One of the very interesting aspects which I have been tracking has been that it is not just the engineering colleges which are showing interest in this initiative. There are management schools, there are non-engineering colleges who are also showing interest. So, can we look at spreading things a little bit more towards the non-technical aspects of the entire cyber crime and cyber security as such? So, are there opportunities that we should think about, and any guidance for such colleges in the Pune region?
Okay, I'll partially answer that, because myself being from a technical background, I'm not completely aware of what will it mean to involve them and how it can be done. However, whenever I have spoken to people from these fields, they definitely feel that it will be very valuable. And a lot of forensics and cyber law related stuff, uh, it requires a lot of common sense as well as an eye for detail, or a different way of thinking in figuring out where things might have gone wrong, beyond just technical skills. So the answer is definitely yes, it is needed. Okay, uh, exactly how, I think some expert from policy law background will be a better person to answer that.
Sure.
Uh, However, I'll again come to the CTF example. We have met people uh, in the CTF who are not from engineering colleges, who are not from management colleges, but these are kids from school who have stood 7th or 10th in competition with NIT and IIT students.
Okay.
So, it's a mindset, I would say, rather than just too much of specific technological knowledge. If you have that mindset, you can acquire the needed knowledge very easily. And if that is the case, then why can't it be done by students from another, you know, branches or faculties? Definitely the answer should be yes.
Sure. No, I think that's very encouraging, and I'm sure that with your point about students from school participating, and that's also an option that we can look at organizing at least a CTF for the schools in Pune. We were looking at the operationalizing of things in Pune, and you were mentioning about this does require people to go through an iteration of having participated in the contest, getting an experience around it, and stuff like that. And you had suggestions about how do we create some smaller regional contest, and the idea about adoption of certain clubs and then possibly doing a CTF for them could be a good idea. But if there are examples or any guidance that you have for, let's say, the 25 odd clubs which are active currently as part of this initiative, how can they really compete and build up that entire roadmap?
Okay, so especially they need to first understand that uh, any credentials of doing well in CTF is valued a lot by the industry. Okay, so it's a certificate in itself that your team is ranked very high on CTF time. That is another parameter. If we go and see how many teams from Pune are listed there, okay, there are we don't see them up in the ranking.
Yeah.
Okay, so now there are lot many portals and sites which have practice problems of earlier contests, or from different CTFs, or they are practice problem derived by some hacking incidences, and even the virtual machines with the problem setup are available to download at Hacker the Box and so on, right? So it is quite easy for a cyber cell to just seed the activity with people with high interest. Let them just sit together, solve, a set of problems, solve it together. If they can't solve it, look at the answer, explain it to others and so on.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the way by which you build it. It's like how every chess player becomes an expert, that you first learn the rules of the game, you start playing, you realize that okay, you go to certain level, but then you watch the games of other masters, you watch the opening sequences which are very standard moves, the definite end games. So you learn the tools and techniques, right?
Yeah.
By observing what others have done. And that's what they can do. They can just go through this. Once they do this, they will automatically become aware of Mitra framework and different types of attacks, and it will start organically growing, right? So it need not only be competing in some CTF on a given day.
Yeah.
You can just keep doing it offline as well. So that's one thing cyber cells should promote. Once you find a like-minded group of people in your college or other surrounding colleges, this can be scaled then quite well.
So effectively, what you are suggesting is that the cyber clubs that are there, they build certain habits. Okay, let's say looking at the top incidents which have happened in recent times, or look at any CTF which has recently been organized and whatever is published, looking at those solutions and stuff like that. So there is a lot more to do in between CTFs than just the CTF.
Yes,
so which is a very important point that you have mentioned. Let's shift a little, shift the gears to a different level now. There are quite a few of the members of the club who are really aspiring to pursue their masters or pursue research in the area of cybersecurity. Give them some guidance as regards how they can actually say they will obviously stand out as compared to the masses that we are focusing on. But for those people who are really aspiring to do something very unique, get into the details around or depth of the topic, what are the opportunities? Where can they collaborate? Who can they connect with. That would be very useful for our students.
Sure. So there are multiple opportunities for students out there. What I would suggest to them is if they are interested in pursuing education and research further in this field, it will help if they have an idea of which area in which they want to apply it.
Yeah.
So cybersecurity, as I said, is an umbrella area.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how to protect an operating system versus how to protect a web application versus how to protect a network. Each of these becomes individual research fields in computer science.
Yeah.
So it is always better to know that I am interested in A versus B. Okay. And for that, you need to be first aware about what are those things, right? So to get an awareness on that, there are a few security related conferences and events that happen in India. Okay, for example, there is one conference called Spaces, which recently happened at IIIT Kottayam, okay, in December. There will be some event or conference, poster conference happening in some IIT, some NIT, and so on, right? I would encourage them to first go and visit that. What it will enable them is to understand what is happening in general in the different areas, what type of problems are there, and that will help them figure out where their liking is. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is if they definitely know their liking, without even taking this step, then there are internship opportunities. There are summer of code opportunities. So, for example, Trust Lab runs different kinds of programs. One is summer internship. Okay. Second is summer of code, which is specific tasks around open source software. Internship is about some kind of small version of a research problem or something to be implemented. And we also have a pre-doc program, which is a 1-year salaried position where faculty from IIT Bombay publishes the research problems that they want to solve, and a student can apply for solving that problem during an entire year.
I see.
So what happens is those students join Trust Lab as an employee, but they are not working on any project or any other task. Their sole job is to work on the problem that they selected for an entire year and solve it. Okay, and we pay them during this 1 year. Okay, so all these three, either contribution to free open source tools or summer of code kind of activities, or bug bounties, / internships / pre-docs are definitely the opportunities for them to get a flavor of this. Another thing that they can do is their B project. If they are very keen, they can take a guidance on what that project can be about.
Sure.
So while it can be implementation of certain research work that happens, it can still give them a good flavor.
So specifically going back to the core agenda of Trust Lab, which is to build trust on the digital infrastructure which is there. So obviously India has made significant strides in this area. Can the cybersecurity clubs actually participate in Digital India and securing the Digital India infrastructure, which is indiastack.global, or any other apps and other things that we are using on a common, a common man in India is using? So are there opportunities that they can participate and contribute towards that?
Right. So we have been thinking about that, and I wouldn't say anything much concrete has happened in this area yet, but we definitely want to see how that can happen.
Sure.
I feel that the contributors here or the participants here should be institutes rather than students. Uh, Typically, what happens, Dina, is in this kind of objectives, you are running a marathon. It's a long-term thing, and there is very little scope for a student to make some difference, barring few exceptions, with the short amount of time that they have, and all the rest of the responsibilities like the coursework and submissions and so on. Even if they get 6 months, very little can happen in terms of contribution. The first 3 months go into learning and getting acquainted. So you need somebody to, hold a baton over a longer period.
Yeah.
If an institute faculty is willing to play that role, then you can think of parts of the problems being handled by a particular faculty or particular institute.
Sure.
For example, we are building two solutions. One is a secure operation center out of open source tools. Okay. Now, some institute says that, oh, all the interfaces with Wazoo is what we take care of. Doesn't matter how many students, which projects, whatever, over a period, whatever it takes. Or if they say that, oh, this integration is something which is our college's responsibility,
Right.
then it can work out. At a student level, it's very, very tough to take a piece out, give to the student, where the delivery and the quality and the continuity and over a long period is also
So I
on the
think
board.
it's a good suggestion because some of the faculty which is anchoring the cyber clubs, they are researchers in or they have done their PhDs in cybersecurity. It's a good opportunity for them to come up with ideas and proposals,
Correct.
which can potentially be reviewed as part of the initiative or the trust lab.
Yes.
To take it further. So I think we make this as an open offer to all the faculty members who are guiding and mentoring the cyber security clubs which are there in your respective institutions to come up with proposals and ideas on how to secure the digital public infrastructure of India and see how you can actually work it out as an ongoing or a multi-year project as such. So, Mukul, sort of a last set of questions. Any specific guidance given that we're talking about largely the student community or the academia community, and we also talked about how corporates could participate in it, but we also have a very large base of small and medium businesses which we have been focusing on, and obviously they also have a significant dependency on the digital infrastructure, because nowadays to run any of the businesses you have to make use of the infrastructure that is being provided by the government or the ecosystem in general. Are there certain things that we could do along with Trust Lab to this community, which is a very vibrant community, I would say, because they are playing a very crucial role in the industrial development of India. But how can we potentially help them also to build up trust in adopting digital at scale and then progressing further?
Sure. So it's a kind of a long answer probably.
Yeah.
So what we are talking about in general is education outreach. And students, people come to IITs with their JEEs, GATE, JAMs, okay. But that's only a small portion of a crowd. And a lot of working professionals, a lot of executives, a lot of students outside, a lot of teachers also need a pie in terms of getting that education from excellent faculty at IIT and places. So IIT itself has started thinking on that line, and now IIT Bombay has a Dean office for education outreach. And under that, we are really considering what can be done in this area. Now, what typically happens is we need to think about the scale there, and we need to think about programs that can persist over a period of a time.
Yeah.
So we are experimenting with that right now, and Trust Lab has launched its education outreach program called as Trust Age, and our first course will start in February, and by the next semester we are actually launching our certification programs, which will be multiple courses and certification at the end of it. While this is happening, simultaneously we are starting workshops or very small but focused courses for industry professionals. And one that will soon happen is for CISOs of companies on especially enterprise security and how to guard it, and our professor of practice will be conducting that course over 2 days. Okay. So definitely this kind of workshops will be very effective for the small and medium enterprise owners or executives or thought leaders. And if we get an input about what it is, then we can really carve that out.
Sure.
However, we also need to think on what overlaps significantly with our areas of expertise. If we feel that that expertise is better equipped, available someplace else, we can also think about partnering and sponsoring that. So that's definitely on the long term horizon. Yeah. But quickly, these kind of workshops,
Sure.
we are starting with that.
So would you like to give any updates on any upcoming events or anything that the students should look forward to? Anything that we would like to do together
Sure.
as part of this initiative?
Okay, so one thing definitely is our national CTF will happen in the second half of the year. Okay, but we are sponsoring or we are talking to BITS Pilani for jointly doing a CTF. So if things go further in that direction, look forward to that. Second thing is we are coming up with a web security course. It's also education outreach course from IIT Bombay. So if you do that course, you will also get credits which you can put into your academic bank of credits. So that is another thing which is going to happen. The third thing is computer science department itself will carry out a research symposium where students are invited to the computer science department, and the faculty in computer science department talks about the current research happening and what projects they are doing, and it's the time when we host students from various different colleges in computer science department. So please see if you are interested and visit IIT Bombay and do that. We are also looking forward to convert some of our work into an open source activity where a large group of students can contribute. So for example, for this education outreach, Dina, assessment is one very big challenge, okay, especially when you offer it in a hybrid fashion. And so we have built tools for assessment, a platform called SAFE, where exams can be taken on a mobile, and more than 250 courses in IIT, they conduct their exams using this fashion. Okay. And to extend that, we have now built a platform where hands-on labs in security can be taken offline. So it's a containerized platform. You can download our client, and within that, all the labs operate and you can solve that, it gets auto graded and so on. So we plan to launch a competition for students to study this platform and to come up with newer labs. So for example, you can think of a lab exercise in web security where something can be broken using cross-site scripting. Or you can think of a lab experiment where a cryptography protocol implementation is broken and you need to decrypt and a message and identify the secret or whatever, right? So we plan to make this platform which we call Pulse open source and launch a hackathon kind of a competition around it where students can A, first study it, B, submit their idea about what they would like to build, and 3, in the actually submit it. Okay, and it will be a competition where there will be prizes. Most of our competitions then are a bit long-lived ones. So it's not that you build something in 5 days and done. So this may run over 2 months period, but this is something that we also want to build.
Yeah. No, absolutely exciting times, Mukul. Thank you for giving all those insights. Any points that we probably missed out and you would like to convey to the...
Only one point which again is very unfortunate and sad to say. The contribution of women and girls, the percentage in all of this is significantly low. So when we see 100 participants coming to the second round of a CTF, the number of girls in that is always in single digit. So I think it is something which needs to be studied, found out more. And this is not observation only in India. Every year globally, the digital trust research labs like Trust Lab all over the world, 10, 12 of us meet in EPFL in Switzerland. And we discuss what are the observations, what are the challenges. This one is unique all across the world. People from CMU, people from EPFL, people from Singapore, all agree that the percentage of women, girls in cybersecurity is something that is significantly low compared to the other areas of computer science, and we need to do something about it.
So it's a good point and a good segue to one more action item. In fact, we had the US consulate getting one of their key speakers a few months back. She brought up this particular point. We had the IEEE president for 2024 for Computer Society. She brought up this particular point as well. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to do something as a corrective action or as an intervention to enable this. So again, we will take that as an action item as
Maybe
part of the
a
initiative.
CTF in Pune on Women's Day in March.
Absolutely. It's a good idea. I think we will definitely take it up as a action item. So again, let's thank Mukul for his great insights, his partnerships with us on various areas that we are driving in this initiative. Again, Mukul, thank you for joining us for this podcast.
My pleasure, Dina. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.